Bill Belichick's future is really blurry right now. And I never would have thought that in all my years covering the NFL that I would be in front of you guys today talking about Bill Belichick being on the hot seat. Who would have thought that we would ever attach Bill Belichick's name to hot seat talk? But we are. And it's for a very good reason, because ever since Tom Brady left Foxborough, things have not been the same. They got mollywopped by the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round of Mac Jones' rookie season. And then in year 2, Mac Jones has a defensive coordinator becoming his offensive coordinator, which just was a recipe for disaster. And that was due to Bill Belichick hiring an incompetent offensive coordinator. Why would you make a DC your OC? We already spent a lot of time on that, not going to elaborate on that too much, but that was a really dumb decision by Bill Belichick. And this is why he's in the situation that he's in right now. And let's just be honest, whether you want to admit it or not, Bill Belichick's future with New England kind of hinges on the performance of Mac Jones this year. Now, obviously, it's a team sport, and you're going to need more than just solid quarterback play. You're going to need a great defense, and you're going to need your offense overall to perform better as a unit this season compared to what they did in 2022. And that should be able to happen with the addition of Bill O'Brien at offensive coordinator. But is this offense going to be good enough to be able to hang in games with the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, and the Buffalo Bills? And Mac Jones, if he ends up having another disappointing season, not only are the New England Patriots going to miss out on the postseason this season, but Bill Belichick probably is going to be in the unemployment line at the end of this year. Mac Jones is going to be a huge part of determining what Bill Belichick's fate is with the New England Patriots past the year 2023. Honestly, he spent the first round pick on Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a successor to Tom Brady. And anytime you spend a first round pick on the quarterback and they don't work out, it sets your franchise back several years. You also want to know what happens when you miss on your QB? You also, most times, if you're the head coach who drafted that QB, you end up being fired. Quarterbacks and their performance kind of make or break head coaches. You see what's going on with the New York Jets. They're banking on Aaron Rodgers being the guy. And if he ends up performing the same way he did last year for the Green Bay Packers and he doesn't end up bouncing back and being the answer at QB for them, Robert Saleh and their general manager are going to be out of a job. All because they missed on their quarterback selection a couple of years ago by selecting Zach Wilson. And when you miss on QB, it puts your head coach in a very uncomfortable situation. And Bill Belichick finds himself in this uncomfortable situation because he's mishandled his staff hirings at OC, and he also hasn't done a good job when it comes to the development of Mac Jones. And if Mac Jones ends up failing, Bill Belichick is going to be a large reason for that. You hinder him by bringing in an inexperienced offensive coordinator who never called plays before, doesn't really have a lot of knowledge on that side of the football, and it was pretty apparent last year. And going into this year, even if Mac Jones does play well, you don't know if you have a good enough team around him for this offense to be all that better than what it was in 2022. And you're going to need some offense if you want to at least make it to the postseason. You may not make a deep playoff run, but if you at least want to be a 9-10 win team and end the conversation to make the playoffs, you got to have somewhat of an offense. Just having a great defense isn't going to be enough to carry you this season if you're Bill Belichick. You're in a division that's arguably the best in the NFL, with 3 teams who are all better than you, who many people feel could be Super Bowl contenders. The Dolphins are kind of viewed as a sleeper Super Bowl pick But the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, there's a lot of confidence that those two teams are going to be up there in the Super Bowl conversation this year. And for the New England Patriots, you don't have an offense that's anywhere as talented as what those teams have. Your defense is going to be really good. But with Mac Jones, he's the really big difference maker. If he plays well this year, the New England Patriots, even if they miss the postseason, let's say they go 9-8, 10-7. Bill Belichick has a solid reason for why he should remain in Foxborough. Going 9-8 and 10-7 and missing the playoffs looks way better than missing the playoffs, going 7-10 or 8-9. Bad QB play isn't going to get you far. Even if you got a great team, when you're playing in a tough division, quarterback play and coaching matters. And for Bill Belichick, this team doesn't have a lot of talent. And therefore, he has to lean on his quarterback to kind of make up for it. And that's something that Mac Jones isn't really going to be able to do. Mac Jones was a first-round pick because he was considered to be the most pro-ready quarterback of the bunch. Not just that, but he had a really good football IQ, really accurate. And for Bill Belichick, you look at what he needs out of Mac Jones this season, you need him to be able to extend plays and be able to elevate the guys around him, something that I don't really think is in Mac Jones' bag of skills that he can be able to tap into. He's not somebody that's going to be able to extend plays. He's not somebody that's going to be able to consistently pick up a lot of yards with his legs on the ground. He does have mobility, but it's not elite mobility. If anything, he's a barely average to above average athlete at the quarterback position. So you need him to be upright, and you got to give him a good offensive line, and you got to give him receivers that are really good at separating and getting open quickly. And the Patriots don't have that. And Mac Jones is going to have to overcompensate for that some way, somehow. So Bill Belichick's future with the Patriots, man, it looks really dim. Honestly, you need Mac Jones to play at a high level for you if you're Bill Belichick to even have a chance of being in the conversation to even have the 7th seed. That's how tough the AFC is. The AFC is home to some of the NFL's best quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence. And you look at New England and compare their quarterback to the others in this division, they have the worst in the conference, or maybe in the AFC East. Some people probably say, man, JT, it's not fair to, look at Mac Jones in the light that you are. He's the worst QB in this division. Doesn't mean he's completely bad. I mean, that's true, but it kind of shows you everything that you need to know about New England. They don't have a good team, really, in comparison to what the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills have from a talent standpoint, and they have the worst quarterback in the division. So you got the worst team in this division with the worst quarterback in this division. I mean, what does that show you? What does that tell you? I think that kind of gives you a good indicator that for Bill Belichick to save his job potentially, he's going to need some really great performances out of his QB and out of his wide receivers. The offensive line should be improved, but this quarterback situation, we don't really know if it's going to be all that better than what it was last season. Because even if you do have a better offensive coordinator and Bill O'Brien, which you do, there's no guarantee that Mac Jones is going to be instrumentally better than what he was last season. He may be more efficient with taking care of the football, but Mac Jones isn't really a guy who's built to have to carry a team. If he has to carry a team, you're in trouble because that means you don't have a good team around him. And if he has to carry a team, he's not going to have a lot of success because Mac Jones is one of those quarterbacks that for him to be successful, he needs a great supporting cast, and the Patriots haven't really given him that. And the reason why we were so high on Mac Jones when he initially got drafted by the Patriots to begin with was because he was going to the best situation compared to the other rookie QBs due to the experience and how good of a coach Bill Belichick has been over his 24 years being the head coach for the New England Patriots. And what we kind of viewed as an advantage for Mac Jones kind of has been a little bit of a disadvantage for him over the last couple of years, because we thought he was in a situation to succeed, and now he's kind of in a situation where you don't really know if he's going to be able to win or not. Same thing with Bill Belichick, which is why Mac Jones and how he plays this year, it's so important to if Bill Belichick is going to remain the head coach for the foreseeable future of this organization. I like Mac Jones. I'm still a believer in Mac Jones, but that doesn't mean I can't have any skepticism. Just like we have skepticism about Bill Belichick. Maybe he kind of has lost it a little bit as a head coach. You know, maybe he's starting to decline. Players aren't the only people who regress. Coaches regress too. At one point, Bill Belichick was arguably the best head coach in the NFL. No debate. And now, we don't even know if we can consider him a top 5 head coach. And we don't even know if he's going to be the head coach of New England in 2024. So, in some capacity, Bill Belichick's fate is kind of in Mac Jones' hands. If Mac Jones plays well, the Patriots should be in the playoff conversation. And they should at least have a winning record. Now, if Mac Jones doesn't play well, I guess it's adios amigos for Bill Belichick. But his future with the Patriots, I think, is going to be heavily dependent on the performance of Mac Jones this year.